Welcome back to Channel 5 News at noon. Your time is 12:27. And let me tell you, this afternoon, things have changed compared to this morning. It usually does, right? It gets warmer, of course. So let's take a look at temperatures out there. It's right around 80 degrees here at our West Coast studio, and with a wind out of the south on average about 16 miles per hour, but it has been very gusty as well. So we'll get to that in a second. We're going to look right now at the rest of the valley. 84 degrees this afternoon in McAllen, to 87 in Rio Grande City, and right now in Port Isabel it's around 81. So everywhere is pretty much in the 80s. We'll only warm up a few more degrees from here, but the winds are going to stay elevated this afternoon. Let's take a look at future track to see when they're expected to slow down. We'll start the clock at noon this afternoon, and here we go. Into the second half of the day around 3 or 4 o'clock, those winds will continue to be elevated. A lot of yellow and orange here, or yellow and green here on the map. There we go. I can tell colors, I promise. Around 20-mile-per-hour wind speeds are what you can expect, with gusts in the 30-mile-per-hour range. Now, here we go. Into the evening, it becomes a little less gusty, and then overnight, a little less breezy. If the winds lighten up enough, we could get a little bit of fog out there, but those winds are going to have to lighten up enough for the air to be rather still for that fog to develop. So it's something that we'll continue to watch. Just keep in mind, it is possible. We continue to pump in the moisture from the south and southeast, with those winds bringing in a lot of that warm, moist air from the Gulf. And to our north, there is a warm front now moving out of the state that'll continue to bring a lot of rain over the Gulf Coast states, in addition to the next system that'll develop over the Central Plains. Now, looking at the West Coast, you see that there's some green there all the way from Washington down into Southern California, and we are expecting the conditions to actually deteriorate with the next approaching system. So over the next couple of days, the West Coast, all the way from about Central California all the way up into Washington, could get about 3 to 6 inches of rain. It could also get some heavy snow from the Cascades to the Sierras, all the way to the North and Central Rockies. About 1 to 2 feet of snow is expected. But look at all the areas highlighted in pink this afternoon. Yeah, those are wind chill advisories. So very gusty winds there and very hazardous conditions along the coast. Now, if you look behind me, I'm going to zoom into Texas here, because we do have red flag warnings over the northernmost portion of the state this afternoon. Some very, very gusty winds, and in addition to those dry conditions that we do have, make for very hazardous conditions in the panhandle this afternoon. Here we go. Future track as we roll into Tuesday afternoon. Look at how we rebound in the valley. We could be closer to the low 90s in the upper valley, while the rest of the valley stays around the mid to upper 80s. The rest of the state goes to about 77 in Abilene, 72 in Amarillo, and then overnight stays pretty mild in the 60s for us. And then we go right back to the upper 80s and even low 90s for Wednesday. So it looks like we are definitely warming up, along with San Antonio. Up in the panhandle, mild conditions there, but still warm for this time of year. It looks like we could see near record-breaking heat for the southern portion of the United States over the next couple of days. Then we'll start to see a cold front. This cold front will arrive early Thursday morning, and that will bring some slight changes. Nothing major. This is about 7 o'clock in the morning, and you see the panhandles at around 43 degrees. We're going to go back down to the low 80s, but the key for us is that it's going to be a lot less humid, which is something that we like after spending a few days in the 90s, that's for sure. Overnight tonight, partly cloudy skies with lows near 67. Again, that fog is possible if the winds lighten up enough. And then we're back to 88 for tomorrow, 90 after we get through some morning fog midweek. So just keep in mind the next couple of mornings could have some fog out there, and you may have to deal with that for your morning commute, in addition to the traffic. Less humid in the low 80s for Thursday, but then the winds will return out of the south, bringing in that moisture. It'll increase our cloud cover, and then it's turning breezy and warm just in time for the weekend. We'll be back in the mid to lower 80s. Your overnight lows will stay in the mid to low 60s for the next 7 nights. That's your updated First Warn 5 forecast. Channel 5 News at noon. We'll be right back.